Hey, ladies and gents, and welcome to the show today. I'm here with my very awesome guest, Sovereign Karl from the Sovereign Project. Some of you would have remembered my last podcast that I did with Pete Stone from the Sovereign Project, and I was explaining the amazing journey that I've been on, and the Sovereign Project's often been there for me when I needed them the most, and I've had Pete on the show to do several podcasts and guest appearances, and he's always brought so much information to the table and taught people so much. But today I'm with his trusted sidekick, Karl from the Sovereign Project. We wanted to talk to you today about just really what like sovereignty truly means, but also talk about an up and coming workshop that we're partnering together to do because of what we both bring to the table. Obviously, the Sovereign Project very much focus about the education of you reclaiming your dominion over yourself, your kingdom, your dominion over your own crown. And my line of work basically will come in on this workshop and basically help you create the mindset, the strongest bulletproof mindset to actually tackle anything you need to as and when you need to, without any fear, and just with pure courage, motivation, clarity, and a deeper understanding of basically everything you need to know to go down that real sovereign path. So welcome to the show today, Karl. As well, just give the viewers and listeners just a bit of a brief sort of CV, and how you're sort of like where you are today.
Yes, my friend, absolutely. I think there's a slight lag, just to let you know, just in case anyone's listening.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what's going on, but just to let everyone know. So my name's Karl. I've been with the Sovereign Project probably since 2021. So I've only been sort of like 4 or 5 years in. Now, I'm a landlord, property investor and surveyor, and been in property for about 20 years. And I thought that I was quite clever and I thought I knew a lot. It turns out I knew nothing. Anyway, cut a long story short, one year me and my wife was building a 4-bed house and the council absolutely stitched me up and I didn't know why. And what it comes down to is jurisdiction, legal title, and authority. And I didn't really have a clue about any 3 of those points. And I ended up losing quite a bit of money. And cut a long story short, that lovely 4-bed house that we were building didn't get built because they really screwed us over. And it come down to what we call a development tax or a seal tax. Well, if you build a property and sell it within 3 years, you pay additional taxes. Well, the council very kindly kept on increasing those taxes every time my project manager phoned me, every time that the tax was going up. So my question back to the council was, how do you have the authority to keep changing the amount of tax I'm paying for this new build? Anyway, the tax got so much that we had to stop the build in its tracks because I was going to be in the red when we come to sell it. So it wasn't viable. And again, we lost quite a bit of money. So then I started going online, Googling, how does a council have authority? How can they make up numbers in terms of taxation, and who is in charge? And I could never get the answer to those questions. I went through a couple of solicitors and I even got in front of a lawyer and I said, look, before you turn your back on me, just give me one bit of nugget of information. And he said to me, yes, did you need to understand legal titles? And I went, what the hell is that? And he goes, so you asked for one bit of information? I said, yeah, damn it, I should have asked for 2. But anyway, he gave me legal titles. And I went, what's a legal title? So I started Googling it. And after 8 months, I nearly give in. And then it wasn't until one day I was on YouTube and this video popped up, and it was Richard Vobes. I didn't even know who Richard Vobes was back then, and he was interviewing a guy called Pete Stone. And I just sat there, thought, well, look at these 2 bold guys talking away. Let's just listen for 5 minutes. And then Pete Stone just delivered everything that I was looking for. And then I realized that I spent 8 months Googling for an answer. My problem was I didn't know what the question was. And that's the thing. Everyone's looking for freedom. Everyone's looking for a way out. Everyone can see the corruption that's going on, the overreach of government with digital ID and the entrapment with taxation, but no one knows the questions. But they're looking for the answers. That's why many people are lost. So once I saw Pete talk the first time, I need to find out I started to look at his website. I started to, I found out that he was doing some courses, and then to cut a long story short, I managed to get onto his live course, and that was it. I was hooked. The information that he was giving me just absolutely clicked with me, and that was it. I was sold. And then about 8 months later, one of his team members reached, Karl, you're a businessman, you're a landlord, you're a property investor. He said, we need to get more of you guys on board. And I was like, okay. So then I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, well, can you help us grow our portfolio of workshops globally? Yeah, great. So we went from 17 to 44 within a small space of time. And these workshops are where men and women come together and start to learn all the content for free. I then said to them, what else can I do? And they went, well, can you help us grow social media? So I went, great. So I got hold of the social media channels and started to grow them. And now we've got an outreach of about 250,000 people, which is great, but they're not really absorbing the information. As most people, they just scroll and follow us, but don't really absorb the information, which is quite painful at times. But then, you know, after spending a few months with Pete, we started to get to know each other. That trust was being built. And then I found myself in his main team, and I haven't looked back since, because I made it a must in my life to actually really start to get to grips with this knowledge that Pete has, and start to truly protect myself. Because as a landlord, a property investor, one big problem that I discovered through Pete and the Sovereign Project is none of us own the land. Because what have we done? We've registered it. When you register anything, you give away first title, you give away power of attorney. And this is why, if you're a homeowner, you want to put an extension on your property, you've got to ask planning permission from a higher authority, because the council, who's an agent, basically have the controlling interest upon the land. They can dictate whether or not you can build or have an extension, because they control it. You don't. And that freaked me out. So I'm like, as a property investor, I don't own any of my properties. No is the answer. But there was a way of getting them back. And this is the amazing part, right? But it's hard work. It's not something you can do over the weekend. It takes a little bit of dedication. And this is why me and AJ have partnered up to go and do a 2-day masterclass in Liverpool, because AJ brings the mindset stuff, which is amazing. I'm going to learn loads from AJ. And then what I'm going to be doing is showing people how the system works and how you start taking back control of your assets. But yeah, again, once I started learning this from the Sovereign Project, my life went on hold. And I've literally, for the last 4 years, I've dedicated myself to this, because Pete's given me so much. The Sovereign Project's given me so much. I'm now paying it back by just literally dedicating my time to it. And right now, what are we doing? We're meeting up with loads of farmers on a regular basis, show them how to take back control of their land and their farms, because they've registered bloody everything: the cattle, the sheep, the poultry, the pigs, the machinery, the farms, everything's registered. That's why farmers are being decimated at the moment. Now, I work with a lot of farmers. Funnily enough, tonight at 7 o'clock, they come onto a Zoom call with me, and I talk them through how the entire system works. Now, those farmers would be with me for about a year and a half. Now, you know, it doesn't take a year and a half to learn it, but that's how long they're going to be with me learning it, because it's every 2 weeks. So you can do it a lot quicker if you need, if it's an absolute must to you. But we've just blasted out of nowhere now. We've got business directories where businesses are learning to operate the private. We're working with one of the greatest tech teams on the planet, where we have our own decentralized mobile phones and communication systems, because that's a big problem, right? Everyone's worried about digital ID and being hacked, tracked, and traced. Well, for us guys, no longer. I'm actually using the systems now, so it's here. And if people want to see this stuff, well, it's not going to be sold to the public, shall we say. It can only be sold to Sovereign Project members. So, for example, if anyone has got any interest in coming to and being with me and AJ for two days, you're going to see this stuff. You know, we've been doing homeschooling. So we've got a homeschooling platform. So we can't say schooling, by the way, because that's now curriculum. So it's a home educational platform in place. We've got trust specialists. We've got bullion suppliers. We've got a thing on the website called the Sovereign Wiki, where people can look at guides. So they know how to roadmap their journey in terms of dealing with corporations that are trying to build them, utility companies, debt collecting agencies, that sort of stuff. So the Sovereign Wiki is huge. But now we're starting to really work with technology. We've built our own apps, we've got our own servers, we're creating new websites, we're giving our members a platform, infrastructure to actually have true freedom. But it all comes down to the mindset, and that's why I'm so excited to work with you, because in terms of mindset and everything that you've done in the past, it's going to align with us so amazingly. And that's why the 2-day event we've got in Manchester is going to be so special, so special. So
yeah, absolutely,
so there we go,
bro.
for a little introduction.
Yeah, and to be fair, mate, it's just a testament to how much Sovereign Project's grown. Like, you know, I cast back to, you know, it's when the night me and Corin first met each other first time face to face, and it was like Pete was our guest, and it was very much a one-man band, and just like trying to show people, you know, the Billy basics at the start, you know. So it was amazing how this has all gone full circle. You know, and I'm doing an event with you guys in Manchester on the 5th and 6th of September, and it's going to be awesome. And I guess that's my way of kind of paying it back as well, because I've been, you know, a lot of the stuff you teach people, I've been through those experiences, right? Whether it's with, you know, enforcement agents, or whether it's with utilities, or whether it's with whatever it is, right? And that's part of our individual story as well. That's what people need to remember, because, you know, prior to 2020, I don't think I ever met or can remember speaking to anybody who stopped paying the gas and electric, or chinned off their council tax, or stopped, you know, got rid of their TV license. It was 2020 was definitely a catalyst for like so much, like, oh my God, you know, it wasn't just an awakening for people from the pharmaceutical industry. It was like everything, right? So people were realizing that like the very households they were in, like, weren't theirs. And, you know, and it's a lot to take on, you know, it's a lot for the mind to deal with as well. This is hence why I've been obsessed with mindset and mind control and psychology and neurolinguistic programming and things like that since I was a kid. You know, so I've been fascinated with how the mind works and why people make decisions, and even how the body moves and operates. I've been obsessed with it since I was a nipper. So, you know, there's always a reason why. So it's been amazing to see how people have evolved since like 2020 to now. And many people have been through these experiences where they've, you know, faced that fear on their doorstep, or that knock at the door and stuff like that. And each step of the way has been a massive learning curve for them. And I guess that's where the Sovereign Project, you know, for me, really like fills those gaps. And I've always done so exceptionally well. So I guess like the whole concept around the 5th and 6th of September is like, you know, you're looking at a kind of like a big jigsaw piece in front of you, and there's several pieces missing. Each one of those pieces represents like part of your sovereignty, part of your ascension process, part of your deeper intuition and understandings about yourself, right? And this weekend will help you plug all of those empty jigsaw spaces, like 100%. And that's what's so good about how this works, between the work that I do and the work the Sovereign Project does.
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry, I think I cut out a little bit there. The line's a little bit dodgy. I'm not too sure why.
Yeah,
but yeah,
mate,
one of the things you said there is about learning and that how you've learned over the years. And this is really interesting. So one of my property mentors, an amazing guy. Well, I think there's a little bit of a delay in our chat, but I'll carry on. So one of the big things for me when I first started this journey was mindset. How do I get a stronger mindset to be able to become a property investor, a landlord, and deal with multiple mortgages and all this, that, and the other? Because a lot of people have limiting beliefs, like, oh, I'm not good enough to earn a £60,000 a year salary. I've got to earn £30,000 because that's where I'm comfortable, right? And it's hard to break through those barriers. So one thing that I kind of learned a little bit about was like our human needs. Now, human has different wording, but we're getting to that another day. But human needs, everyone has different human needs in terms of how they learn. And I've got quite a dangerous need where it's growth and uncertainty. So even if I don't know the answer, I'm still going to go and do it, which can be a little bit dangerous sometimes. You can get your hands burnt. But there's lots of people out there that have one of their human needs could be certainty. So they need to be absolutely certain before they move forward. Some people have like love and connection, where they need to be around people to sort of absorb information. Some people, this is a real powerful one, is some people need some significance in their life. They need to feel significant. So I was with a guy at one of my master classes a couple of months ago, and he was in a job that he absolutely hated, and he didn't feel significant in his role whatsoever. So he couldn't come home and learn, because when he got home, he was emotionally drained, and he couldn't step forward. He couldn't start his learning journey. He couldn't really get involved with the Sovereign Project until he changed his career. So until he came and met me, he then was nowhere. He was lost. Once he'd done his 6 human needs and realized about significance and how he can make himself be more significant, he changed his roadmap, became more significant in his role, and now he's starting to learn. Now he's starting to progress. So for me, human needs and learning that side of things is a real powerful beast, and it's helped me over the years to establish how I absorb information, which has been really, really cool. So yeah, but in terms of the mindset stuff, I think I'm still kind of amateurish. So again, I'm gonna be like a kid in a candy store when I see AJ sort of take control of the room and go through what you're going to be doing. So I'm really excited about that. I'm literally going to be one of the audience, which should be cool.
Yeah, it's important actually, and
excellent.
I've done courses in the past where it's like very much theory based and stuff like that, and then you go away and like most people don't implement like what they've learned, and it becomes what we like to call shelf help. You know what I mean? You instead of self help, where you basically write all these notes, you do all these things, and then you put it back on a shelf and it gets dusty and nothing ever gets implemented. And you see that time and time again. That's why like doing the stuff around your mindset first is so exceptionally important, for you to be able to retain that information, for you to like feel it in the body, and then for you to then basically manifest that into your physical reality. And that's where we've all been, I guess, pretty much in first gear all our lives since we were kids, right? Until we were adults, is that everything's been very reactive. In most of our lives, we've always reacted to whatever the societal norms and the social engineering has presented in front of us, and just got on with it. That's why we're in the shit state that we're in now in this country, right? It's because it's not just everything's happened under people's noses. It's because of the depths and the level of the programming and the whole of society, that basically creates this illusionary, I guess, environment and community, or lack of, that we're seeing in every town and village and city pretty much across the whole of the United Kingdom. And we're at this time now where we can call it for what it is, like rock bottom. If I was to hazard a guess, and people talk about previous lives and all this kind of stuff and ancient times and blah blah. If I was to hazard a guess, I would say that right now humanity is in the lowest frequency or vibration it's ever been in. Like, this technology that we have around us isn't advanced technology. Our ancient buildings are advanced technology, and again, they've been, we're forced to pay to even enter them. So again, that in itself is just proof. So creating the mindset to help break free and through the illusions, that and show you the programming. I want to show you the mind control. I want to show you the algorithms which make up all the programs that then control the mind, for you to then for people, humanity, to be basically in this walk around with a head in boxes, basically, and each corner of that box represents something in society that keeps your head in the box. So the whole process of this will allow you the ability to continuously think outside of the box. That's where the term comes from. So think outside of the medical establishment, history, pseudoscience, sport, like all the law, all this kind of stuff. They all work in unison together as one big machine to keep that head in a box. And that box is just full of multiple programs and algorithms that keeps you running on a daily basis. And you can see, and people watching any of my content will be in that space where they can see it every day now in society, people running on those programs, So this is basically creating an amazing package for you, for those who are in that void between can fucking fully see the Matrix every day on steroids, versus how do I break through this stage? How do I break through this bubble into our quantum timelines, into being fully sovereign, and into experiencing, my gifts and the ability to create and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I feel this awesome workshop is very much going to do for anybody attending on the 5th and 6th of September, is really fill in that void for you so you can literally rock it through.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Absolutely. So some things you mentioned there just coming to fit in line with me really well. I mean, programming is absolutely huge. And I think both of us will admit that when we see people that have been programmed, it can actually be quite upsetting because they don't see what we see. And even though we're trying to spread the knowledge, some people just don't want to hear it because they've been so programmed that they just can't get their head around it. Now, this is what I've been starting to do quite a lot of with a lot of people that I've been sharing knowledge with, and that is planning, road mapping, showing people how the system works and showing where they are in their life right now, or if they're challenging a certain corporation where they are right now, and what the roadmap looks like looking at going forward for them. So I do that on my weekly notice writing course. So on a Wednesday, we have loads of people join us on a weekly course that I run, and I do roadmaps for everyone so they can see where they are on the journey. And that's exactly what we were doing in Manchester, is the roadmap journey, see where they are, where they want to get to, because a lot of people are lost, unfortunately. So reality is, for me, if I've got my spiritual head on, everything is about frequency, vibration, and energy. However, when you flip the script and you look at the legal system, everything is about jurisdiction, and it's about your position within a jurisdiction. And this is why people that protest or petition or whatever it may be, or get really angry with the government, they won't ever get anywhere because they can't determine their position within a jurisdiction. So I'm going to show people how that works, because what it comes down to is the legal titles that they're accepting. And I'll just be very quick and say that a legal title is like a Mr. or Miss or surname or citizen, or resident, for example, or society within a community. These are all legal titles that can control you. So we'll be showing people how the system controls you. We'll be showing people how the language is used against them. Because, for example, people will pick up a council tax bill or statement and go, oh, I've got to pay that, right? But they can't see the language that's being used upon them that's actually tricking them. Because, just to give you a little tip, is that the council will send a bill, and it'll be council tax bill, and it'll be in capital letters. And people read it as English, right? It isn't. It's it could be American Sign Language. It could be an acronym. It could be Latin, because Latin is all capital letters, right? And people read it as English. It's actually a different language reading than see it. So the deception is home, because the word home is not taxable. Can't be taxable. Right? So they use a different word like dwelling or residential or domestic. They're legal titles. If you accept those legal titles, they can now control you. They now have authority over you, and they can tax you accordingly. So it's showing people what the language really means. So in order for that to happen, we have to sort of show them the history of law. So it doesn't take very long. It's quite exciting. It's not boring, but we do it in a very sexy way, of course, right? But we show people how the system was created thousands of years ago, and what's happened over time, and how it sucked them in over thousands of years. This hasn't happened over the last 10 years. This has been going on for thousands of years. So the system has a story, it has a strategy, and it's very strong. And this is what we need to show people. People need to have their strategy, their roadmap, and they need to become stronger to be able to deal with it. So it's a very powerful journey we'll be taking people on. But the system is multi-layered, right? So people go, oh, you guys are not paying TV license or the council tax. You don't pay utilities. Bad on you. Well, hang on a minute. If you actually knew how the monetary system operated and how they print currency, once you start to realize that, you'll be going, so why is there starving kids in Africa? Why is there people on the streets homeless? Why am I paying tax? Once you realize how they print the currency, it's a massive deception, massive deception. So people think they pay these bills and it goes towards the local services. No. It does not at all. It all goes to fund the national debt. And the national debt isn't even your debt. It's not. It's the government's step, but they pass it on to you because people agree to the surname. Surname is different from family name. So we're getting to some people's systems, language to jurisdiction, because you only start to see the jurisdictions once you start to read the language. Once you see the language, you see the jurisdictions. The deception, then you can start to protect your pool. Put out slightly. I'm not too sure, but hopefully AJ has heard
you're very intermittent,
there.
mate. You keep dropping in and out. I think it's
reason,
obviously it seems like lag and signal your end.
Can you hear me? AJ, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's very intermittent. So you literally keep breaking up and then come back in later on.
I'm not sure if I've frozen or AJ's frozen.
Well, to me, you're frozen.
What we do when we do a live.
Yeah, and it seems to be with just us. Like I done a live this morning, and I did a live this morning. I'm doing them every morning, and yeah, it was totally fine. It's when me and you do lives together. I'm just gonna see what it's like on my Facebook, see who's lagging. Yeah, you're frozen on my social media as well. I think what might be a good idea, ladies and gents, is if me and Karl actually pre-record a podcast and then put it out there, because every time we try and do a live together, this just goes to show you like what's up, whether it's on Instagram, on across YouTube, on X, whatever that may be. It's continuously doing this to me and Karl when we do a live together. So that tells you everything you need to know. Oh, he's back in, but let's just see if he can actually communicate. You there, mate? So if you can hear me, Karl, I was just explaining to the guys that I think it's probably best if me and you pre-record a podcast and put it out there, because this is the third time in a row.
AJ, can you hear me good? I think we're being, I'm not too sure if we've been attacked or whether I've just got a bad deal.
We're being attacked, mate. It's the story of my life.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's because my signal
probably,
is at full strength.
Yeah, so mine is as well. I think what would be a good idea, mate, is if we pre-record a podcast, because this is the third time in a row. You know, that when there's a lot of people watching and that, it's better for them to be able to watch it like continuously and not, you know, I appreciate other people's time as well. So when it's like lagging live and just like jumping and stuff like that, we're trying to get the best content across to people. So let's reconvene a super secret time that the Matrix won't know about, and we'll pre-record one, buddy.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap, ladies and gents. There you go. Matrix in full flow once again, trying to attack me and Sovereign Karl every time we do a live. We can't actually ever do one. It doesn't matter whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on X, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, obviously, every platform. Every time me and Karl try to do a live together, it hammers us. So that tells you all you need to know. So if you want to really fill that void, please try and come to our awesome workshop, which is on the 5th and 6th of September. It's in Manchester. It is all day 2-day event. I'm going to be running with the mindset side of stuff to help you create a bulletproof mindset to step into that true sovereignty. And Karl's going to teach you the nitty gritty and all the fun stuff when it comes to that as well. So it's a partnership that we've kind of created because we know it's going to bring the best of both worlds and both realms to you for your onward journey. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And it's on my 44th birthday weekend. So yeah, maybe we'll have some cake together. All right, ladies and gents, much love, and look out for a pre-recorded podcast with me and Karl coming very, very soon. Much love.